Hi, everybody. My name is Yogesh Chavda. I'm so delighted that you guys have decided to participate in this group chat on WhatsApp, actually, called South Asians in Marketing and Insights, or SAMI. So I wanted to just kind of like start by saying, for those of you who don't know me, I've worked at Procter and Gamble, I've worked at Amway and Kimberly Clark. I've also worked at tech companies like Spotify and Pinterest, along with a couple of other roles at WS Audiology at the University of South Carolina. Currently, I'm running a consulting firm called Y2S Consulting, and I've got a few other things going on too, which you'll probably hear about in the coming days. But let me not talk too much about myself. I want to also introduce Shalini. Shalini?
Hi, everyone. I'm Shalini Sahi. I am seeking out my next role, but previously at Procter & Gamble, General Mills, and Platis, we have brands such as Godiva, Flips, chocolate covered pretzels, Turtles. And prior to the CPG world, I actually was in clinical oncology. I ran clinical trials. Yes. So a little secret about me. Didn't go to med school. We can talk more about that, of course. I'm sure a lot of people have the same story. And I wanted to start off by just sharing, how we came up with this. It was just Yogesh and I chit-chatting away and realizing there's no platform for us to connect. And when I say us, I mean South Asians, regardless of how folks identify and how connected or not connected they are with the roots, we ultimately share something as a community. And a couple themes that I wanted to hit on is naturally we are highly empathetic individuals, not just because we're in marketing and insights, but because of our cultural roots and the way that we were raised. We also strongly believe in community as is, and I'm sure everyone has celebrated throughout the years numerous different festivals and bringing everyone together. You can never go to anyone's house and just have a glass of water. You need to have samosa and chai for sure. And the last piece is naturally we're very introspective people, and really the idea behind this is to enable connecting those pieces for personal growth, but also for your own network's growth as well and your professional growth.
That's amazing, Shalini, and I completely buy into that. So that's when you suggested it last night, literally last night, within an hour we had it up and running, and within the first 12 hours we had over 50 people sign up already, which was pretty incredible. And I'll just build a little bit on top of that. One of the things that I personally believe in is that we have to support each other as a community. We all whether we live in the US or in Canada or in Europe or in Australia or Asia, in Southeast Asia or in India, we're having people join from all over the world, which is fantastic. I want to make sure that everybody understands that this is meant to be a professional, supportive network. We're not here to talk about politics. We're not here to talk about sports or anything else of that stuff. There are other forums for that. This is meant to be supportive. As marketeers and insights professionals, we tend to be leaders within organizations. So we all have that leadership bent, right? And right now, especially in this environment that we're in, not just in the US, but globally, I feel like we need to kind of have that ability to connect and support each other. This is what's really kind of I see a gap. I think, Shalini, you would agree that, there is a gap in our community right now for this. So that's why we've started this. So I'm hoping that the kind of conversations we see on the WhatsApp group is intended to be constructive, to be supportive, and people should feel vulnerable and ask questions. It's totally okay. It's
exactly.
Totally okay.
This is a platform for us to remove any barriers for you to want to reach out. This is the opportunity for folks like me a little earlier in their career to be able to have access to folks that have a lot more tenure, are more seasoned, have seen the real world, and are willing to engage in real talk like we had yesterday.
Yep.
There's very few leaders that will give us the real of how they've gotten into the position that they have, and and the learnings of how life goes on.
Yeah, and as someone with a little bit of experience, I think my gray hair gives it away. Let me tell you, learning doesn't stop. We can't just sit there, and kick our feet back and say, it's over. We need reverse mentorship as well as older adults as well. And the example that I was sharing with Shalini earlier was that, heck, I've been focused relentlessly on LinkedIn as a platform for building, my profile. But if I wanted to go do it on Instagram or TikTok, I wouldn't know where to start. And I'm looking at young people to help me, help me learn basically. So it goes in every direction, right? So and especially with AI today, which is leveling the playing field for everybody. Experience doesn't really count as a consequence of it. I think it's imperative on all of us to be coming in with a curiosity mindset, a tad bit of humility. Indians and South Asians, we love to show how smart we are, which is fine. We are smart. No one's denying that. But at the same time, we should also kind of like come with humility and say, hey, what don't we know and what do we need to learn basically as well.
Yep. I'm going to throw a curveball. In the spirit of SAMI and recognizing our identity, let me ask you a question, because people have made it this far and we're almost done before we invite, more to join. What was your least favorite childhood South Asian food that you hated but you eat now?
That I eat now?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Or
I
you
have it.
don't eat at all.
Okay, I have an answer for you. It's
Yeah.
called eggplant. As a kid, I hated it. I absolutely hated it.
Love
Right?
bangan.
Oh, and I went to college, and this was back in the mid to late '80s, and there weren't that many choices, and then I had eggplant parmesan, and I fell in love with eggplant. So I literally remember this incident happening. I went home, and my mom had made eggplant,
Yeah.
for one of the meals, and I just ate it without even questioning it. And she looked at my dad and says, "What has changed? He's changed. Like he's eating eggplant." So
Exactly. So same story with me. I hated bhindi, okra,
yep.
and the only way and by the way, I was not allowed to leave the table until I finished everything. So anytime there was okra, the only way I would eat it is take it as pills. I would swallow with water. But as an adult now, Trader Joe's has freeze dried okra.
Mhm.
I absolutely love it. I snack on it. It's literally eating raw bhindi basically.
Oh my God,
So yeah, just
that's the
giving
other
a
one.
nod, and I think there's ways to include a little fun and help people realize that we can leverage our culture to connect and have icebreakers and build that connection and strong networking with one another.
That's amazing. I still don't like bindi, by the way, just for the record. My son and my wife love it. I don't. So even today, I can't eat it. So, but anyway, so that's a great icebreaker, Shalini. Thank you so much for that. So, guys, at the end of the day, please invite other people who are in the marketing and insight space, or even the creative space. Anybody who touches marketing who's South Asian. Or we want it to be a warm and inviting place for everyone, basically.